Hey everybody, we're the Splinter Twins. I'm Mark, that's Kyle, and we've been talking a lot about good Duskmourn cards. Check out that video. It's kind of popping off a little bit. I kind of like that. But today, no. We're here to talk about some jank, Kyle. We're here to talk about the fun cards.
Yeah, don't worry. Nobody's going to see this because Wizards didn't invite us to the spoiler event just because, we're
Kyle,
tiny.
they did invite us, but we're not shills. So
Oh, is that?
yeah,
I would chill. I want to play
what we're going with.
Duskmourn. It looks sweet. Okay,
looks sweet.
let's kick it off. I'll start with my number 5 card. I like typal nonsense as much as the next person. And Mark, there's a type out there, an historic type of card that just needs a little bit more. And I would articulate to you that little bit more is Floodpits Drowner.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. Yeah,
do mermaids
this card
need more?
Yeah, absolutely. Mermaids, are they a deck right now?
Not in standard, no.
No, not in standard. And I mean, like, you remember, like, after Ixalan came out, we played a mermaid deck, a Simic mermaid deck, and I think this little 2-drop right here does enough flash, loving that. But then also, it's kind of like removal a little bit. You get the trigger from playing it, and then you can shuffle this and the thing that it tapped down or whatever has a stun counter into the library. Like, it's pretty cool. It's got vigilance to boot. It's nice.
I think this is a sweet tempo card. Like, it really could actually do some serious work in mono blue. Like, I was looking at different creatures that deck might play, and this card kind of does everything for them. You know, it really can let you go fast and just get that damage in that deck wants to do, along with the bouncing and stuff like that. So I think this is a really sweet card. I don't think Mermaids is going to be a real deck by any stretch, but I think if there is, we haven't seen a traditional, like, blue tempo deck in a minute, you know? Like, not even like a playable blue tempo deck. And dick kind of feels like you're getting dicked when you lose to that deck. But this is something that's like a Magic staple, and we haven't had it in so long, and maybe Floodpits Drowner is how we get it back.
I mean, just think about it. They're going to move to attacks. You flash this thing in, you tap their thing down, you come in the next turn, you hit with it, and shuffle it away. I'm not saying this card is amazing, but if you want to make Mermaids a deck, I'm telling you, like, a 5-mana Mermaid Bomb is not going to do it. What you need are little tempo-y value cards like this that are relatively cheap. Maybe it makes a difference, maybe it doesn't. I didn't expect to see Mermaids on Duskmourn, and I'm happy that it's here.
Mermaid Lord from Dominaria? What's that thing do?
Oh yeah, it gives like +1/+1, and I don't know what else. Put it up on the screen.
Quite a few mermaids, but the one I was specifically talking about is Voldarian Hexcatcher. Obviously a critical card in the mermaid deck that we put together. It's a classic lord with upside, so it's kind of cool. And there's actually, like I was saying, a lot of other mermaids. You got a Tatiova, the Mindskinner. You got some stuff going on.
Even the guy, the City of the Lost Sentinel or whatever.
Yeah, mermaid.
That one's just playable in non-mermaid deck. So
maybe a little,
like I said,
mermaids. Yeah.
Even if it jumped mermaids into like C tier, that would
Probably
be an improvement.
But it's got a home in a couple of different decks, and I think it's gonna be fun to brew around. My number 5 card, and I think it might be on your list somewhere because you're such a little Victor simp. Victor Valgavoth. What do we think? What are we calling this? Seneschal?
Oh yeah, Seneschal.
This card is so... it reminds me of the Jelly Bean, Like, you gotta stack those multiple eerie triggers to get the true value, but hey, Surveil too, especially if you're trying to get some Delirium rocking. Not bad. It's gonna really fix up your draws. And the second clause is really what's got me brewing. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about maybe some Esper enchantments brew, because there's a lot of blue good enchantments in here, but I actually think this might be really fun in those discard decks, because a lot of the discard that's being played right now are enchantments. Your Hopeless Nightmare, your Bandit's Talent, right? You throw this guy in there, 1, 2, 3, and all of a sudden you're just ripping off, double spelling, doing all kinds of stuff, and then that third and that first clause, that's just gravy on the card. Its stats are not particularly impressive. It's just, a fair magic card, 3 for 3, but I really think there might be a chance to pop this thing off, especially with tokens and stuff. So this obviously I think is, most people are looking at it for Esper, but I'm kind of looking at it for just a good old Orzhov discard situation.
I do love that artwork too. He is creepy looking. He's very creepy looking with the broken stained glass windows behind him and everything. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, 3/3, that's not nothing. This reeks of commander card to me. But I don't know. I think Esper, like you said, but maybe there's a black-white shell for this. Meat Hook Massacre, the sequel. Let's do it.
I mean, It's not nothing. But there's so much enchantment that's already in standard that I think there's a couple of different places this can fit into nicely and just get you that value, you know?
Yeah,
I want a
the
3/3
hopeless,
against mono
whatever it
red.
is.
I want a body on 3 that's got some booty on it that can just block, get in front of a Monastery Swiftspear, and if I can, if I can block or if I can do something, like that's necessary. So, I think this card could be kind of fun. Legendary, I think, like I'd love for this not to be legendary, so I could double up these triggers. That would be very
Sick.
nice. But I'm gonna have a ton of fun playing with this card.
My number 4 fun card is it's a dream and a meme all tied together. It is a room card. It is Funeral Room and Awakening Hall. That's right. We are putting the fun in Funeral, which is I like it. The Funeral Room half of this would not be enough to get it on this list. Just like whenever a creature dies, you get like a Blood Artist effect. You get they'll lose 1, gain 1. That makes it fun, right? 3 mana, that's kind of a lot.
Yeah.
Like Bastion of Remembrance at least gave you a creature.
But
It
it's
is
a 1/1,
Awaken-
and that card was good. That card
Yeah.
actually did work, and it's only it is literally the same card on the left, except for you didn't get the 1/1. But this comes stapled with an additional card. I know the
Yeah.
1/1 is important, but this has got upside. This has got more to do.
Upside, like, oh, you like Reanimator? How about you reanimate everything in your goddamn yard? Awakening Hall just puts all creature cards from your graveyard back on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a Valgavoth, here's an Atraxa, here's a Voltborn Tyrant, just like
Just
all of
imagine,
it.
I heard you like Reanimator, bro, or dude, whatever.
Yeah.
Exhibits kicking down the door, being like, "Here's every creature in your graveyard." I have this as my number 3 top fun card because there are just so many pieces for aristocrats coming together, and this is, I think, really important because when you got your little like value engine set up in aristocrats right now, it just takes one Sunfall to just poop it all away because it's so creature based. We need a diversity of threats for this to actually be a real competitive deck, and this actually does it because it lets you diversify your threats, right? You can't just have everything Sunfall, and it gives you a late game win condition, which is what the deck
notably
really
though,
needs
Sunfall
right now.
does negate all the triggers from Funeral
True.
Room.
No, that's true. But still, if you lost things to spot removal or whatever in the early game, this is going to let you do stuff. Not for nothing. Maybe some discard is happening. That just seems to be printed on every card incidentally here. So I think there's a real chance that this could get you, with your Vron Illis situation, you chip them down 10, 15 if you're lucky, and then that last little bit, boom, we get to the Reanimator, and now we're just, blowing the doors off you with whatever.
So you see it as like reanimating a bunch of little dorks instead of what I want to do
Yeah.
is I want to reanimate like 4 bombs simultaneously and be like, deal with that.
It's going to be hard to fit that in there because this deck needs the synergies. Honestly, fitting 4 copies of this into that deck already is going to be kind of tricky because that was a real deck, not like a competitive deck, but it was a functional deck in Standard already. There's a shell you can just go online and grab, and slotting this in there, I don't think it changes their game plan specifically, i.e. slotting bombs in. I don't really think that's going to happen in a way that's like functional, but I don't know, maybe. Maybe.
I mean, the responsible play, the dare I say cowardly play, is making this an Aristocrats card, which is for sure the better play. But that's not what I want to do.
Well, then you should just go sell out. Get the key that unlocks it. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just do that.
Oh, we're doing it. Like, I'm gonna get the only way this card could be funnier is if it was all graveyards. Then it'd probably be busted for Commander. But yeah, I mean, at least once. It's like a platinum achievement in Duskmourn Standard. I'm gonna reanimate multiple bombs and just like look at the opponent and be like, you got Sunfall or you want to scoop? Because look at this.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, I mean, depending on what you animate, like if you really sell out and you get a bunch of haste creatures or whatever, or all the value in the world from Atraxa and, Atali, and then it's just like, oh, cool Sunfall, bro. I'll just do this again. Like, and you already have the 8 mana or whatever it takes to make this happen. So, yeah, it's a bomb. It's a bomb, but I think it belongs in I'm going to have fun with it first and foremost in Aristocrats and get to sacking. The Quattro funnest card I'm going to have is just specifically to counter your fun. It's that, do you hear that noise? What's that? Has someone got the dice set out? It's Ghost Vacuum, y'all. I will be transparent. I hate the Ghostbuster flavor on this set. Like, I think that's the worst part about what is truly a horrific mindfuck of a set. Like all Forever Haunted House is actually pretty metal, and the Ghostbuster Stranger Things energy is kind of bringing the vibes down. But for this card, Kyle, we make an exception. I just love this card. It might actually just be a good card because this is like one of the more effective pieces of graveyard hate that we have in standard now. It's
repeatable.
Just like, it's repeatable. It happens right now, right?
Yeah.
There's no delay.
Just,
you can play
just
it for
in
one
this set alone. Look, and between like the last set and this set, we've got Delirium, we've got Threshold, we've got Reanimator. Like you're gonna, like it is not crazy to main deck graveyard hate, and Ghost Vacuum does something later in the game, which I'm sure we're about to talk about.
Exactly. The
makes a little bitty Sheldred.
The little baby Sheldred, but hey, even a little baby Sheldred's still gonna do some stuff. It not for nothing flies as well, which is real. If you actually do pop off, now it has to be a creature for you to reanimate it. But if you pop off and like go for 6 and get 4 things, a couple of them have an ETB triggers. Like I don't really think this is Magic Christmas Land to make this happen in current standard. I think this could slide in really well to a control deck that's just looking for graveyard hate anyway. And then this gives you an in-game, like, ha ha ha, wouldn't it be funny win condition. That's why it's on this list. I don't think it's dependable enough to be good, but I know it's going to be fun. Walter Peck was right. This shit is irresponsible. You should not have 6 ghosts in there, but I will crack it, and I will blow this vault up, and we will get to ETBing and flying and screaming and baby Sheldon all over the place.
You also you don't have to hit a creature. You can hit whatever. You can hit a card with flashback. So, I mean, that's just added gravy and upside. You're incentivized to hit creatures, but you don't need to.
That's true. And, worst case scenario, this is just very efficient graveyard hate.
My number 3 card hates your number 3 card because it is Rite of the Moth. This card is pretty good, Mark. It's pretty good. This is a 4-mana Reanimator with flashback for 6. Reanimate 2 things. Why not? Now, granted, when you do reanimate something, it gets a finality counter on it, but come on, man. You can still reanimate. You can reanimate another thing. That's pretty tight. Yeah. You have to be, like, at least heavy Orzhov colors to play this. I think the casting cost on this was really smart. Like, you're not playing this in, like, your mono green reanimator, blah, blah, like... Rare is the deck. At least maybe we'll see after you get like 3 years worth of lands.
Even these dual lands, Kyle. These dual lands are silly.
It's not practical that you're probably hard casting this and hard casting Atraxa in the same deck. I'm sure somebody out there is going to make the mana base to make me shove those words back down my face. But
Wizards
this does
of the Coast
ask
are the people making that mana base.
This does ask something of you, and it is now the cheapest reanimator spell in standard, and you can do it twice. And if we've learned anything about flashback, it is doing things twice. Powerful ass mechanic.
This old army does it twice.
And it's not like we don't have. It's not like we don't have bombs to reanimate.
Yeah, especially with haste too, like or just immediate ETB value. We can do that. Getting that out on 4 mana is kind of nuts. We've seen people do this. Like remember that old what was the card? Recharge and Repair. That whole deck. Where people were just like flip, discard, and you pull out your just insanity, your Portal to Phyrexia, your Salvation Angel or whatever. Not Salvation Angel, the big 5/5 with the shield counters. You know the one? God, how fast we forget the names of cards. Sanctuary Warden. Warden of the Sanctuary Warden. That thing. Just bomb level nonsense, and I'd argue there's bigger bombs.
You couldn't get that with Rest and Recharge though.
No, but you would get that with you would do it. No, it was Invoke Justice is the deck I'm thinking of. That was the card that made that one. It was 5 mana, but it was just one of those things where the goal was just discard as fast as possible, get some ramp, and just do stuff. We saw how effective that could be at ending the game early. Basically, it was like turn 5, turn 4 if you could cheat it. End of game, and Rite of the Moth says, I don't give a shit about a finality counter. If I build my deck around just self-mill and value, then there's going to be, hopefully by turn 4, more than enough targets to where I don't care about this. And like you said, let's do a little bit more ramp or, wait 2 turns and here it comes again. This could be a real powerful reanimator deck, a reanimator spell. Yeah. And not for nothing, it's uncommon. So hey, let's have fun with it.
Yeah, I almost put Valgavoth on this list, but after watching the spoiler event, I'm thinking maybe we're gonna hate that card. Actually, that card is pretty good. It turns out. Holy shit! Like You can't even, like, with Atraxa, like, oh, okay, at least they got a grip, but I can remove it. Unless you're willing to sack 3 permanents, you're not getting rid of old Volley. Uh, it goes pretty hard.
My number 2 card.
Oh, no. Mark,
Valgavoth.
This might not be fun.
Eater. It might be fun. Okay, hear me out on this. Obviously, mine is fun, yours is not fun. But I think as much as this card is terrifying, I think it's still a fair reanimator target than the shit we're seeing that makes me want to die. Like the Atraxa's the worst offender. Atrax is the worst offender, obviously, because of the insane ETB value. Oftentimes, it's like, even when you have the removal, you still feel like you're going to lose because it just recharged 5 cards, and you're like, I can't deal, you know? This is a card where there is an opportunity to respond. Now, you probably have to respond with a sweeper, right? You probably have to do that unless you just have, a bunch. 3 is steep, but it's not impossible, especially with all the tokens
you've got
and stuff.
Effects, you've got Lily, you know.
Yeah. And edicts abound, so you're right about that. Like, this thing, imagine playing Shieldred's Edict and just laughing all day long if somebody hard casts this. Like, that's pretty painful. But what I'm saying is, obviously this card is insane.
And then next turn, boom, you Rite of the Moths.
You just do it. The idea that this card is insane is what I want from a bomb. Like, this is a fair magic card. 9 mana. It's basically saying Reanimator or bust. And the fact that you can answer this theoretically with spot removal. 3 is steep, and you want it to be steep. But also, this just sweepers just laugh at this. Sunfall just laughs even harder at this. There's tons of sweepers in the format to choose from. There is a lot of ways to answer this card. And that's why I think it's fun, because it's a bomb that's going to let you live your dreams. But I think it's fair, like in the Shieldred sort of way, where it's like, yeah, this is going to end the game, but like you do get a chance to respond to it in a way that's fair. And I like that. I just like that from my bombs. This is my first deck, I think in Standard, is going to be a Demon deck. And Cruelty of Gixes plus this guy is going to fill out 8 slots guaranteed. And I love it. I just love how stupid silly this card is.
It is very stupid silly. Also, I like the sort of mini game with the ability, because you can pay life for it, and it has lifelink. But there will be games out there where somebody is going to be too greedy and they're going to get themselves low enough and get burnt out. Like, that is going to happen to somebody, and it's really funny to me. Yeah. But yeah, lifelink on this thing is an absolute must, and it just works really well with the ability. But it's very similar to Atraxa. Like, there's going to be board states where you can't swing into this thing because they're going to gain 9 on the block.
Yeah, that's possible, but we'll see.
Like,
we'll see.
If somebody swings into you and you gain 9, and you swing into them and you gain 9, you could just like cast their whole goddamn library or anything that you exile. Like, you just gained 18. You're not losing that game.
It really will depend on like what the meta looks like for this card. If, like, let's say Rite of the Moth is just a busted card, and it's just like you will get this on turn 4. It's gonna be pretty hard for you to have 3 permanents to sack on turn 4.
Yeah, what the fuck is mono red gonna do?
Nothing.
About
literally
that.
Nothing. If you put this down on the table against mono red, then that's
if you what's that
way.
word, like the freaking 2 mana instant that allows you to pay 3 life or discard a card.
Yeah.
Not long goodbye.
It's up here.
Bitter Triumph, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Bitter Triumph. You just like Bitter Triumph their Slick Shot away after they pump it, and then, like, turn 4 Rite of the Monster Valgavoth out. Good luck, bro.
Good luck. Yeah, discard. It enables itself in that way. We've seen that happen in the past. I don't know. Could but with Leyline of Residence, could you attack through this? Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Enough prowess and pumping, you might be able to kill this damn thing. That would be the ultimate throw your computer against the wall. Yeah, but I don't care, man. This bomb is for me, and I'm not gonna get sick of it.
Die trying to get.
It's either a bomb or it's either a Jank Lord's Dream or it's a ban, and I don't think it's a ban.
My number 2 card, Mark, welcomes to Siphon Through Deck. You know what? You like Reanimator so much, I'm going to help you fill that graveyard up, because I'm going to cast the Mindskinner. That's right. Card. What is this card? What is it? It's a 10-1 that can't be blocked, and
it's a Pyroclasm's Wet Dream is what this card is.
Oh, I mean, sure, fine. Like, but you spent 3 mana on it. Like, okay. Like, it's not like it was some 8 mana bomb that they had to cast. This is like a 3-drop primary game plan that complements a Jace on 4. But, like, holy crap, man. 10 cards a turn for mill, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I love an alternate win condition. You know this. And obviously, there's a lot of decks out there like, yeah, fill my graveyard. But this thing can fill your graveyard maybe a
Why do
little
you
too
keep
fast.
saying feel? Feel your graveyard.
Your
No,
graveyard.
you can feel my
Yeah,
graveyard.
you can feel my graveyard.
Feel it. Give it a
Where I keep my-
squeeze. That's what.
Where I
That's
keep my
what
bowdies.
That's where I'm gonna laugh at this card. Do you remember when like mill was a real thing like 8 months
Yeah,
ago?
Rune Crab. Bleh.
No, that was really bad for rogues, but that was bad because they could win both ways. I'm talking like in standard 8 months ago, like there was a real mill strategy.
I still
going
play
with
that
Jace.
deck.
Oh, I hate that deck. I don't like it. It's not fun. Mill sucks. Mill's like, hey everybody, I'm here to play a game of Magic, and your opponent's like, oh, you'll be playing Magic, but I'll be playing a different game, and we'll see who wins.
This card's not going to be good though. There's no way.
Probably
But
not.
it's so
Well-
fun. The biggest problem is it's legendary too. Like you can't just have like 2 of these swinging. But like, man,
I don't know how many of those
really-
you need to be swinging though, because
really
like you
hilarious.
said, with Jason 4, like that's real. There's a crab that enables milling as well. Like I don't.
this
think
also
it's gonna,
triggers that crab.
Yeah, I don't know how real that deck is gonna be, but
I'm
if
building
is, Yeah, if it is, it's gonna be because
Mono
of this
blue
card.
mill, let's go. Toot
Yeah.
toot.
My number one favorite card, Kyle, is going to
I
enable.
wonder if we have the same.
I am so excited that this is going to enable maybe one of my favorite archetypes that is very undersupported.
Never mind. We do not.
Big Red Daddy, let's go. Charred Foyer and Warped Space. I am so excited for this card. It's a little slow, I'll give you that. You get a little bit of value starting on turn 4 with Charred Foyer. But man, taking turn 4 off could hurt in this very fast standard. But when you do get to Warp Space, we were talking before, like, what will win you the game is just value for free, and my god. Obviously, it's great because it works with itself, but I don't need to tell you that this works with Adventures. I don't need to tell you that this works with Bonehorde Dracosaur. Like, I don't need to tell you that this works with Winds Resolve. Like, all the ways that Red likes to, quote-unquote, draw cards with the whole Exile thing. There's a lot of ways to do some nasty shit with this card and just completely overwhelm your opponents. I want to slam this into Big Red. I want to put it alongside Roller Crusher. I want to put it alongside Enduring Courage and just pop off.
Koth, maybe?
Koth? Yeah, let's get him in here. No 2-drops, no 1-drop. We're playing Big Red. Pyroclasm, that's my 2-drop. Get your shit off the board. It's time for the mountains.
Pack your shit and go home.
Get out of here, you fake-ass Mono Red. I'm the real Mono Red with my big ol' warp in space. I love this card.
This card is dope, and I like that it works with itself. I also just flavor win for rooms. Like, they remind me of a lot of things that like wizards will do with modal spells. Of like, you know, is one or the other really a good magic card? No, but having both, like if you don't see these room cards and you don't understand why some of them are really good, like you need to think about like MDFCs and commands and having options for different points. I'm not saying every room is a busted card. This is not the companions mechanic, but there is innate value at having the flexibility, and a lot of them, their abilities work really well together, and you can see how like, oh, this deck wants to do this and this. Charred Foyer Warp Space is a very obvious example of them. Some of them are less obvious, but like I think it's a really, really great mechanic, and it gives you a lot of decisions to make during the game.
And it's not the same as a command. It's not the same as adventure. In some ways, this is the most modal thing we've ever seen, because it's saying, pick whichever one you want, and then there's literally another card right here waiting for you. I guess in the meantime, it could get blown up, but otherwise, it's your card to play whenever you feel like it, right? Adventures, if you cast the creature, you lose the spell. Modality or commands, it's like you play it now, right? And you maybe kick her or up it or whatever to get that thing, but it's now. This is both. It literally is like having 2 magic cards. The only difference is that it has to sit on the battlefield and is subject to potential removal. Otherwise, yeah, it's just 2 for 1. And I think that is just some sick-ass value. And this card is sick-ass value. I am excited about it.
You're going to build big Rakdos and hope to exile a Valgavoth.
I thought about it. I really did. But I think just like big old mono red with like, you know, like Iron Forge or Crag Iron, whatever, and people were just popping off with like, there was like triple up stuff and Ugins, and man, I had a big red deck in the past that I just absolutely loved, and I haven't been able to play that in years. I'm really, really excited to do it again.
Hey, Mark, I'm not going to lie to you. My number one card, dumbest card on the list.
Okay.
Like, absolute nonsense.
Wait, we're doing the funnest cards, not the best
Oh,
cards.
it's
your
fun.
number ones are usually the dumbest cards in that list, so I just didn't know if you were...
I'm gonna have the most fun with this, or I'm gonna like bang my head against the table. But I will before this card rotates get this alternate win condition. It is Central Elevator and Promising Stairs.
My God.
Yeah. So Central Elevator allows you to whenever you unlock this.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah.
I don't even know what this is.
You that doesn't have the same name as a room you control. You can reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. So it's like a 4-mana very bad room tutor. But Promising Stairs is 3 mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, you get to surveil 1, and you win the game if there are 8 or more different names amongst unlocked doors of rooms you control.
God.
I'm gonna play like 3 or 4 or 5 color rooms deck, baby.
That's just never gonna
So
happen.
that's 4 different rooms all unlocked. You say that, but there are cards that specifically allow you to enable unlockings. There's like a key bearer or something card like that. I'll play whatever control I need to do. It does. There's no way. There is no way this deck is good. I will lose 1,000 games if it takes to beat somebody with this alternate win condition.
Obviously, I think you're gonna be because there's a lot of blue-red rooms. There's a little bit of red room removal, so that might help you stabilize the onslaught.
Yeah, you
while
also
you're
need
just
4
dicking
different
around.
rooms though.
Yeah, that's just wild.
But you can, you got your surveil going. You can cast Central Elevator later in the game to go find a room that you need. Like, it's not
take
nothing.
turn 4 off. Take turn 4 off for that.
Take
That's
turn
what
3
you're
and
gonna do?
take turn 3 off because you cast Promising Stairs before it.
Oh, you're dead.
So
Kyle.
you're just gonna take
dead.
take turn 3 and take 4 off, but like you're really setting up. Think
You're
about
gonna take the night off. You're gonna have Friday nights free very early. You get to go to early dinner. You get the early bird special. You will play no more Magic with this deck.
You're telling me though this isn't fun? Like this isn't
it's
a
so
brewer's dream?
fun. It's so fun. I think it's the thing that's not fun about it is that it's so conservative that it's impossible. Like I literally think you might go insane from this mission. Like that's secretly Duskmourn's tech to make you insane. This just seems impossible.
Nah.
Even with
There's
the
some
enablers.
good rooms. There's some good rooms.
No, there are for sure. But I don't even know, like, even outside of what's the minimum amount of mana you would have to invest in unlocking or playing 8 rooms? That's like 25 mana, maybe?
Maybe.
Where are you going to get all that mana?
I don't know. Find it. Actually, there is a red room that produces 2 mana beginning of your main phase. So,
I mean, that's like, on average, a slightly more than 3 mana a room, which is not true. It's more than that. It's probably like 30 mana.
There are rooms for like 1 mana. Like, it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
It's not.
The point is, it's so much fun. And I can't wait. You guys have seen our Halo Fountains deck. Like, I love, like, every time I read an alternate win condition in a set, I'm like, challenge accepted, baby. Let's do this. You shouldn't, in New Capenna, you shouldn't use Halo Fountain to win the game. But I won a bunch of games like that.
Oh, Lord. Well, I mean, these are your wild cards, so you do what you want, bud. But this is 4 rares you're not getting back, I don't think.
I'm going to have to open some packs, and we'll see what happens. This is not going to be deck 1 on the old ladder. This is just brewing in the background. I got 3 years to make this pop off.
If Foundations wasn't coming out and like there were new decks to brew around, this would be like a lovely Christmas break kind of activity. But there's no denying this is fun, and I will cackle like a madman the first time I see you do this. Like I will cry laughing. It'll be
just
someone will be like, I can't. They'll be like, I can't believe. I want to lose to it. I want to be the one person that this happens to.
It'll actually uninstall your client if you do.
Maybe. The Pinkertons show up and you're like, are you here for the spoilers? And they're like, no, we're just taking your Magic cards away.
All of them, even the ones you got as a kid, give them to me.
Give them. All right, guys, that's our top 10 funnest cards. Let us know what you think in the comments section. What are you excited to brew around? We love being competitive.
The spoiler of it is out. Nobody saw this. It's just you and me.
It's true. It's just me and you talking, and we record this video. But I do think, like, I want to know what people want to brew around because I love being... I got my competitive decks. I'm climbing the ladder. Still playing Boros tokens to this day. Try to get up there. Make sure we have some good competition for when the season rolls over. But At the same time, my heart is secretly, I am a Timmy, I am a Jimmy, I want a Jank, I want a Crank. And these cards, I don't know, Duskmourn has a lot of brewing happening here.
Yeah,
So,
a lot of strong cards too.
yeah.
There's a lot going on in this set. I think we're in for a pretty big meta shakeup, and beyond just the couple of weeks while people kind of play with the new cards, I think we're going to see some new decks out of this.
I hope
As
so.
Standard gets 2 years and 2 sets in, I think that the bench is growing wider for people to kind of spread out. There's gonna be a Reanimator deck in Standard. There just has to be, with all the pieces that are kind of breadcrumbed out. And I think, yeah, I mean, Mono Red is still going to be a monster on the ladder, and it probably got some new tools from Duskmourn as well. But I think we're going to see a variety and a little bit of shakeup in Standard.
All right, guys, have fun, and we will see you out there. Magic is fun.